Okay, so what the heck is that guitar there, fella? Okay, so this is what's called a Cuban trace. If you want to go down a Wikipedia rabbit hole, if you start with any instrument like this, including this one, you're gonna, because each one of those articles says like the Cuban trace is like this one, and before you know it, you're in Japan and you're in this one-string guitar with no frets. That's kind of cool but quirky. But it has two strings, and while they're tuned to the same pitch, it's kind of like human voices. We're like, maybe we have a similar accent. We sound somewhat similar, we're both males, but like we don't have the exact same sounding voice, and so that creates a texture. And that's what gives this kind of a unique sound. And the way that this music is played typically is there's, and I forget the exact name for it. Ted, do you have a little Montuno up your sleeve you can play quick by any chance? No, just right now, just to demonstrate. Any Montuno. Thank you. So there's this repetitive pattern that goes underneath that over the last, 70, 80 years has shifted more to piano. Like generally when you hear Latin jazz, generally you hear a lot more piano than trace. But there was also this big heavy trace thing, and so you'd hear things like this. And they'd start with I'm going to call it a Montuno for now, and then they'd improvise kind of around that. So it'd be like... So, on the main guy who, one of the big names in Latin jazz who played the trace was Arsenio Rodriguez. He was blind. I think he was kicked in the face by a horse when he was young, and lost his eyesight. And he, in addition to being an excellent trace player, was an innovator. I'm not going to get into the weeds of the arguments, so I'm not going to say he invented the following things, but it's pretty safe to say that there's enough consensus that he was an early one who, for example, brought the congas in, and early salsa rhythms came out of his group and his band. So Arsenio's great, and like all the Latin jazz artists, there's 1,000 albums by him. So you go on Spotify and there's more that you can listen to in quite a long time. So we're gonna play this. There's gonna be a repetitive pattern on this that I do the whole time, and I will just start off by doing it.